Hello to Mentally in Tune. This is Bernadette Joy Graham, your favorite licensed mental health therapist from the Glass City, Toledo, Ohio. Thank you for those that are listening in and who are staying by my side. Last week, I had received many comments, good comments, and some negative comments, but I took them all with stride, and I appreciate comments, period. So if you have any comments, whichever way they are, please send them to me. I'm not an actress, nor have I gone to acting school, and I'm not a YouTuber. What I am is a concerned person in a small town where black on black crime has gone off the charts. And I don't want to live in a city like this. And this isn't the only one. But I also don't want to move. I was born and raised here. I left for a while, but here I am as a single mother raising a teenage son. So the comments from last week, a lot of them had to do with Lil Davy, and I agree. A lot of them had to do with black people don't go to counseling because they do. There are a lot of people who go to counseling, but I'm going to start with Lil Davy first. Little Davy's story last week that I told turned out to be awful. Where his father was shot the night before, he was sent to his room, and 10 years later, we guessed that he was either in prison, on the corner slinging dope, dead, or somewhere in between. But what if there's another little Davy, or the same Davy, that had someone come in to be his mentor? It could be his aunt, his uncle, his grandparents. The lady that lives next door who never was able to have children. And she took him in and she helped him. And little Davy felt that love and he flourished in school. And he flourished so well, he got a scholarship to an HBCU. For those of you who are alumnus of HBCUs, you know how great it is. I am not. I went to University of Maryland at College Park. I love my terrapins, but that's okay. I still give you respect. As little Davy walks across that stage to receive his diploma and shake that hand, he's looking in the audience at his aunts, at his uncles, at his cousins, at his friends. But the person he wanted there most was his father. And he was not there. He was here. And that was okay with Davy. Because little Davy ain't little Davy no more. Davy is Davy. He's Big Davy. And now it's time for little Davy to reach back and help the next little Davy. On the side that black people don't go to counseling, they do. Because I have many black clients. I have many black clients, white clients, Latino clients, Asian clients. I have human beings as clients. Some of them stay, some of them don't. Not every therapist and client click, and that's okay. That's how it should be. I was asked a question this past week from who other than the Mental Health Recovery Board. I was asked to come and speak on the black on black violence of gun violence. And as I pursued to give my presentation as a licensed counselor, not social worker or case manager, but as a licensed counselor, I was asked this particular question. And it really wasn't a question, it was something that we already know. And the question was, why do we not have more black male licensed therapists? We have case managers, we have a couple of social workers, but we don't have too many black male licensed therapists, at least in the state of Ohio. It might be different in California, New York, I don't know, but we're here in Ohio. And my answer to that question was twofold. One, it's a female dominated career. It's mostly women who provide counseling and therapy. And it took a lot, and women, you know what I'm talking about. It took a lot, unless you came from a very wealthy family, to get through those 2 to 3 years of graduate school. And if you had children or were a single mother, it was that much more rough. You were working 2 and 3 jobs. You were trying to find babysitters. Sometimes you had to take the baby to class with you and still got kicked out. It was rough. And the money wasn't nice. It was nothing that we could afford by ourselves. So, how is it that we expect black men who are the head of the household for the most part to just say, hey, you know what? I'm going to take off for 2 or 3 years and take all our money and go to school to become a black male licensed therapist. Sounds really good, and I would love to hear that. And I guarantee there's a lot of black men here in Toledo who would love to do that. But they don't. Not because they don't want to, not because they can't, not because they're not intelligent enough, but because of the finances. They can't just up and leave their families and say, hey, I'm going to go to school. I'm going to be gone for a couple of years. It might be in state, out of state. You know, they might have a couple of little babies they got to take care of. That's not going to happen too well. Because unless they have a full scholarship, which I've never heard of, they're going to have to pay out of pocket. They're going to have to go into their savings account. They're not going to be able to work while their family suffers. So my answer was, of all the funding that the city and county and state has that gives to nonprofits and organizations to, let's say, fix the drug game and the homelessness game, why not take some of that money and send black men to school to become educated as black licensed mental health therapists, counselors? Why not? Why can't we do that? Is there a rule in some book that I missed? Maybe. I don't read everything. But it's a great idea. At least I think it's a great idea. And for those of you listening, I hope you feel it's a great idea as well. The only thing is, I'm one person. I am one black woman in the city of Toledo. And if the question was asked by someone who does not look like me and is not of the same gender, you know it's got to be serious because he is not the only person that has asked that question. I don't know how many other people have answered that question, if answered at all. I'm a solution focused based counselor. I don't focus on the problem. I know we don't have black male therapists out there that's licensed in Ohio. And if they are, they usually skip town and go to some other state because of all the rules and the hoopla and the licensing fees that you have to jump through in the state of Ohio. I don't blame them. So where can we start? Where do we go from here? Well, this is how I see my future. If I had a crystal ball, I guarantee if that project was to start, say this fall, next spring, where black male decided to apply to the universities around here or universities otherwhere to come back and become black licensed mental health therapist counselors, you'd have a long line. And I know you couldn't give out everything to every male that applied, but the ones that you did, that would be more than what we have now. And by the year 2026, 2027, there would be a lot more black male licensed mental health counselors and therapists. That's my solution. I would love to hear your comments. I would love to hear your feedback. Thank you for tuning in to Mentally in Tune. Remember, keep your mind right and everything else will fall into place. This is Bernadette Joy Graham from the Glass City, Toledo, Ohio, and I look forward to talking to you next week. One last thing. For the mothers who have lost their children to gun violence, my heart goes out to you. I pray for you. And your courage is strong. We cannot bring your boys back, your men back. But I'm happy to see that you are coming together and working together because I've seen the programs and they are working. But prevention, it's a lot easier than intervention. These boys and men do not have to be killed in the first place. So we don't have to worry about going over to the side of, well, how are we going to keep them from being killed? There's a lot to that story, and maybe we'll get into that another day. But there's a lot of mothers, not just in the Glass City, who woke up this morning that no longer had a black son, or two, or three. And unfortunately, tomorrow morning, there's going to be more, if not more. And there's what, 365 days in a year? Do the math, you mathematicians. Let's get it right, Toledo. Let's close this down and get some male black therapists licensed in the state of Ohio. And I guarantee the crime rate comes down. You have mothers who are able to raise their black children. The black children will live happy childhoods as they should. In the city of Toledo, the Glass City, we might just be put on the map for doing something right. I'm not going to say for a change, but I pay my taxes here just like everybody else. Hope to see you soon. Remember to subscribe, leave your comments. Peace out.